Hey folks, welcome back to SC Haulers. I'm Saxon Wine, and today we are doing a very special event, and it's not the face reveal, although you are getting that. And the face reveal, nobody's asked for it, but here we are with the face reveal. You could have just looked up Saxon Wine on any social media platform and probably found my face somewhere. But that being said, here we are. And the reason we are here in person today is because we are at PAX West, and we're only going to be here today. It's August 29th, and we wanted to stop by a few places. So the Gearbox Expo for Borderlands 4. We want to stop by Path of Exile. While I'm here, I'm just going to walk around, check out any merchandise I can get, and then go from there. The main reason I wanted to come to Seattle today is for Bar Citizen, not for PAX. So we will have some extra footage from PAX, or excuse me, from Bar Citizen. And we're supposed to have CIG devs there as well, or at least one of them, and then a community manager. So hopefully we can get some questions answered. And if I can film any of that, I will. If not, then here we are. So stay tuned. We got stuff coming. So forgive me, I'm not good at vlogging, and I felt really uncomfortable, even just briefly recording people. And then as I went through PAX West, I got more comfortable because I saw more and more people were doing it. But all that being said, we're just going to walk through what I went through at PAX West. And we're going to start with Borderlands 4. This is one of the things I was excited about. I played the Borderlands series for a long time. And, I wanted to check it out. Unfortunately, the line to actually play the demo was way too long. I am on a time limit, or at the time I was on a time limit. And so I would only be able to be there for 2 hours. And then my wife actually wants to go to Bar Citizen with me. So I had to come home and pick her up. So I had about 2.5 hours to actually be there. And I did not want to wait in that line at PAX. So here's a few things that I saw, I enjoyed about the Borderlands setup. I didn't actually get to see their presentation in the main theater because it's my first time at PAX West, and I had no idea where the main theater was. I know it was on floor 5. I could not for my life figure out where the freaking stairs were or the escalator was to go up to floor 5. So I unfortunately did miss that, but I'm going to watch it later on YouTube because they did do a live stream of it. So yeah. And so we started at the front of their presentation here, and you can see on the left side in this picture, and the people in front of me too, these people are all in line, and it wraps all the way around their presentation. But they just got some models in the front of their main characters. And I really love this entrance into their LAN area. On the backside, you have people signing Break Free. And this right here was amazing. We did, as you can guess, stop by the Path of Exile booth, and I did take a picture, and it was kind of cool. The what was it? You could corrupt your image with a Val orb, which I thought was cool. So here's that. If I had taken this earlier in the day, I could have won a prize. It's just an AI image, but whatever.
T-shirts. All right, sounds good. Stop by the Path of Exile 2 booth. We are one of the coolest looking booths in this entire.
So that was cool. I got to stop and talk to a couple of people that work on the team for Path of Exile 2. And then we moved over right across the way to Escape from Tarkov. Now, I didn't know Tarkov was going to be here, but I'm not surprised that they're there. And they were doing some kind of arena, like Tarkov arena event. And again, I did not have enough time to actually participate. I've been playing MMOs for 20 years, and so once I finally got into Tarkov, I just fell in love with it. And so I had to get myself some merch. So this is what I got. If you want to see my full pin collection, let me know. So the last thing I did on my way out, I saw that Larian Studios was there, and I don't know how I missed them the first time. They were like right next to the Borderlands 4 setup, and I didn't have time to actually sit there and talk with anybody, but they did have this picture booth set up, and they had some artists there, and that was super cool. So here's that picture. Whoever did their makeup and stuff is they did wonderful. And so that was my PAX story, and I was only there for a couple of hours, and I wish I could have spent a few more hours there to begin with. And so maybe next year we will go and spend maybe 5-6 hours there rather than 2 to 3. And that'll be, I think, more beneficial to me. But personally, I don't think I need to spend an entire weekend at PAX West for 2 reasons. One, just standing in line to play demos of games that I want to play in the future is not something I really want to do. Like some people were standing in line as soon as PAX opened at 10 a.m. And that's just not my thing. Like I'm not there to go ride a Disneyland ride, you know? And I mean the games, Borderlands 4 is coming out in October, I think, maybe September. I don't remember, but it's coming out soon, and I'll just play it then. Same with the other games. There was one I wanted to check out. Let me see if I can find this picture. I saw it. It's a Souls-like game, and I remember seeing it pop up as like an upcoming game, and I thought it looked decent then. And then they had a setup there, or they had a booth there, and I was like, oh, that actually looks really, really good. Like the combat seemed fluid, the game graphics actually seemed halfway decent, and so on and so forth. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Found it. Okay. So we have here. So we have here Crimson Desert, and it's a Souls-like game. This guy right here is just going through a cutscene, and so these other people are going through actual gameplay here. It looked really, really good and fleshed out. This particular cutscene right here was fire. Like it was really, really good. I enjoyed watching it, and I was there for maybe 20 seconds. No, it was probably like 2-3 minutes. I say 20 seconds. It felt like 20 seconds. More like 2-3 minutes. And so yeah, that was Crimson Desert. So I want to check that out. I'm not a big Souls-like fan, but I have played Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring all the way through. And like again, I'm not a big Souls-like fan, like that game style. I'm not the type of person to play through it multiple times in multiple run-throughs, but I will play through it once if it's got a decent story to it. Okay, so Bar Citizen, and these are just some of the pictures. Unfortunately, I did not have video footage here, and it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. I am vlogging or anything of that type is not my thing. It felt really uncomfortable, and my wife even talked to me about it after the fact and said she's read in multiple places that like vlogging can be super awkward when you first start. And I noticed that at PAX, like there were some people that were vlogging and they just like had their camera like right up to their face, and that's all you could see. So you could tell a lot of people were like super awkward with it. But I did get a few pictures. And the first thing I noticed was these 3D printed SCU boxes, one SCU boxes, which I wanted one. I went and asked if we could get the SLT. I can't think of the file format. Y'all know, if you 3D print, you know what format it is. Later in the evening, I guess so many people asked for the file that they are going to put it on the Bar Citizen Discord. the Pacific Northwest Bar Citizen Discord. So if you're interested in that, then it might end up there, but it depends on the original artist if they want to provide it or not. So don't get your hopes up. That being said, they gave 2 of these away to the CIG devs, or maybe it was 3, I'm not sure. And they were giving away 2 more. And so what they did was trivia questions, and they did cargo trivia questions. And the first question that they asked was, what are the 3 resources for the resource drive? And let me tell you, boys, if there's anybody that's hauled a bunch of resource drive cargo, it's ya boy. And so I won one of the Bar Citizen 1 SU containers. It looks really nice. There are some flaws, but I mean, it's 3D printing. And so overall, like the 3D printed 1 SU container, I love it. It's going to be set up on my little display back here, right over here. And once I finally get my office like reorganized, maybe I'll have it up full time, like right behind me or something. But we got some more images, and it's just pictures of everybody there. And I'd have to say, I don't know, there's probably like 200 people here. I got my Squid Games hat on. And just more people, oh, this is my wife's forehead. And this is some more people. This is the only guy that noticed I was taking pictures. And then I had my camera up, and I was talking to somebody, and my wife just came over and booped the camera, and I was like, what the hell? So yeah. So that was my experience at Bar Citizen, and it was really fun, really cool, and I got to meet a lot of cool people at Bar Citizen, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably wondering if I spoke with the CIG devs that were there, and surprisingly, the person I talked to the most is probably Armando Lira, and Armando Lira was at PAX West last year, or not PAX West, I'm sorry. He presented at CitizenCon last year, and it was about Starwear, and I had different questions for him about Starwear, and we talked we talked for, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. It was a long conversation, and overall we were just having a great time talking about Bar Citizen and Star Citizen, and overall it was just a wonderful experience. Armando is a wonderful person, and oh, it was such a good time talking to him. Like, he is a good guy. I feel like if we lived in the same part of the world, then we would be good friends. Like, just hands down. He does have a strong passion for developing the game, and I appreciate that about him. He really cares about what he's doing in the game, which is armor and clothing design and Starwear, essentially. And if you haven't seen him before, he presented at not PAX West, CitizenCon last year, 2954, and he presented Starwear. And Starwear essentially is the stats of your armor and clothing that you're going to get, and then the customization of armor as well. So like being able to equip light armor with no undersuit, and then I don't know, like a hood for your helmet. So I asked him a few questions, and again, remember, we talked for like 2 hours. I'm basing this off memory. I don't have an interview. I probably should have like asked him for an official interview, but it is what it is. And so this cannot be quoted. This is just from my memory. And CIG, feel free to email me. It's up in my channel description up there if you have any issues. But you also have my account name, Sacks of Wine. Just feel free to hit me up if anything is wrong. You want me to take it out, whatever. So first question I really wanted to ask. Armando said if he cannot answer a question because of NDA reasons, which is understandable, he usually just answers with, I don't know. and that's that. And so he told me to ask anything I want, and he will say I don't know if he can't or actually doesn't know the answer. So the first thing I asked was, oh, you know what? I'll give you the two that he said I don't know to. And so the first one was jetpacks or parachutes when. He said I don't know. So that could be it's either not going to happen, not his team, or he just can't discuss it. The next thing, and this one was kind of a double question, and this was uh, armor lockers on ships. So I based this question around the tech preview, and I said in the tech preview we saw helmets being physicalized, and because we saw helmets being physicalized, like you hold the helmet in your hand, and it's like you hold the helmet in your hand, and then you can put the helmet on your head, and you see every step of the way of just like going from here to here to here, and then like on your belt loop, and you can see it like on the belt loop and everything. And that was really, really cool. But also at CitizenCon last year, they mentioned that in armistice zones, there are going to be some armistice zones where you can't wear armor. So my question was, are we going to see armor lockers soon because of the physicalization of armor? And that way we can loop these two gameplay loops into each other. Or not loops, I'm sorry, not gameplay loops, but gameplay mechanics. And he said, I don't know about the ship lockers. And so I would assume that's probably just not his team, or he legitimately just doesn't know. In regards to, and he kind of looped it around where he said that a lot of what's happening now is how do I explain it? It's debugging essentially, and making sure that everything works properly, and that's why things like this is taking so long. And he used the double armor bug as an example. And if you don't know the double armor bug, there is a way that you can currently equip clothing and armor at the same time. It's like, or you can equip like clothing, an undersuit and clothing, and then for some reason it will double as a an undersuit, an invisible undersuit, and then you can equip a second set of armor. And so he said the reason that they were able to physicalize the helmet in the tech preview is because they went through every single helmet and every combination to see where that bug is and fix it. And so it's going to be if they have to go through every single piece of armor to figure out that combination and what the issue is, it's going to take a long time to get that in place. And so if ship lockers are dependent on that bug being fixed, and not just that bug, but other bugs as well, we could be waiting a while for armor lockers and armistice zones taking your lockers away. But that's just my opinion. He did not say that specifically, but he did bring up the double armor bug as a reason why we wouldn't see it in the future, near future, I should say. Um, let's see here. And so there were three other questions I had. We'll start with this one. At CitizenCon, we saw the tank armor. We saw the hunter tracker armor, which is now Antium armor in the game. We saw the light sniper outfit, which is the Geist armor. But one thing we didn't see at CitizenCon was industry armor. Like, we didn't see any industry armor with stats on it or anything. And I asked him, are we going to see that, for one? And he said yes. Like, we're going to see industry armor. And he further explained that industry armors are a little bit more tricky because with combat jobs, you have specific things that you need, but they're all pretty baseline. So it's like stealth armor, you would need more mobility and stealth. Like for tank armor, you would need more armor, and then like it's a balancing act. So you would get more armor, more protection, but less mobility. And he explains all this in the presentation at Starwear. And so we are going to see armors for industry, and they are going to be, he used mining as an example, but they're going to be different types of armors for different specializations. So we should see, my understanding of that is we should see a set of armor for hand minables. We should see a set of armor for vehicle minables, and then ship minables. And I brought this up to him. I was like, in the future, we're not going to be able to sit in the pilot seat or turret seats with heavy armors. So, oh, I smacked my desk. We're not going to be able to see, or we're not going to be able to sit in the pilot seat or the turret seats with heavy armor on. So if you're flying a mole and you're in heavy armor, you won't be able to get into that turret seat to help the pilot out with mining. So there needs to be a specific set of clothing or suits that help with that ship mining specialization. And there are going to be other professions as well. Like we already have the strata armor from the resource drive that is eventually going to have cargo hauling stats to it. I mean, it is cargo hauling armor. Then we also have salvaging armor, which we don't know what that looks like, but there is going to be salvaging armor. And then the game's expanding too, so they have to bring in different stats and clothing and stuff like that to really get it in there. And this is a two-part question, kind of. So the next question is, are we going to get transmogs in game? And anybody who's played World of Warcraft for 5 minutes after 2012 will know what transmogs are. It's basically you're wearing one suit of armor on the inside, and then on the outside, people are seeing a different suit of armor. And basically you can make your character look whatever you want. And the overarching answer was yes, we will get transmogs, but the second piece of this was two things. One, they don't know how they want to implement transmogs, and they don't know how they want they don't know how they want to do it. And the idea right now currently is that they want to just give you like a hologram over your armor, which, I mean, overall makes sense to me. But and Armando's second point was that there are people in the community who are saying that transmogging your armor is not realistic, and other people are saying this is something I really want. And so I tried to explain to Armando that the real end game of any MMO is how you look. And so if the stats on a piece of armor don't match what you like, then essentially you'd have to cosplay whenever you're in a city or something. But that aside, Armando also mentioned that oh, you know what? Okay, sorry, I was processing. Okay, so I mentioned on a realistic side of things, what if you went the realistic approach, would it be possible to take like the technology that's like in a helmet and put it into a like helmet? So for instance, the Geist sniper armor, if I wanted to transfer that to the Lynx armor set, could we do that instead? That way I could wear that light armor that I wanted, but it would transfer the stats to the Lynx armor, for instance. And I didn't get a yes or no on this. It seemed like this was not going to happen. And Armando mentioned a bunch of things they would have to do in order to make sure that worked properly, which is making sure that the equipment that you're transferring stats from doesn't overlap with the armor that you want to transfer it to, and that way you're not double stacking it. The way he made it sound was there was a lot of work that would have to go into a system like that, where a system that just gives you a hologram of the armor you want would fit a lot better. Last question, and I brought it up a few times, was the tracker, Antium armor, and the sniper Geist armor are in games. Will we see their stat features actually drop in the near future? And I specifically said you could be as broad or specific as you can. I'm more curious if we can get a John Cruz answer where it's near future with potential delays. And he said yes to that. So a John Cruz answer of 6 to 12 months with maybe delays. And we should see stats, like actual specialization stats on these armors. And that was pretty much it. Armando and I spoke a lot about Star Citizen and the different systems in regards to like Starwear and stuff. I told him my favorite gameplay loop, which is, I mean, currently like mining and cargo hauling. He mentioned one of his favorite parts of the game. Eventually, he went off and talked to other people, and I tried to snag a picture with him, but he left before he left for the evening before I could loop him around again. Ended up talking to way too many people myself, so I get it. But Armando, it was nice to meet you. Wonderful person. If anybody else watching this video gets to meet Armando, I recommend it. Just even if you don't talk about Starwear, great guy. And that's pretty much going to be it for my PAX weekend. My PAX Bar Citizen weekend. It was my first PAX, my first Bar Citizen. And I would say it was an overall good time. And if you haven't been to a Bar Citizen before, oh wait, I want to show you my box. Hold on. Here it is. It's so cool. And yeah, there's little issues with it, like right here, little scratching, whatever. It's fine. I'll go. But now it is on my shelf. I really got to change this room around. But that being said, I'm Sax of Wine. This is SE Haulers, and we'll see you at the next haul. Love you, bye. Sax of Wine.